So, Dr. Stobart, the reason I asked to talk to you is because I found your talk about assessment for learning very inspiring. And this is the mic. Sorry. The little thing here. Yeah. And I wanted to ask you a few tips for teachers how to make the most of assessment for learning.
Right.
So you gave us the key 3 things. If you could just, put them in several sentences.
Okay. I started by saying it's assessment for learning, but it's the learning that's important. So we mustn't get hung up on assessment. It's how assessment helps learning, and particularly the kind of deeper learning that children think for themselves and organize their own thoughts. So we want that kind of deeper learning. And the approaches that I suggested today were, first of all, we've got to find out where learners are in their learning, first of all, because the best way to learn is to build on what you know already. So the teacher has to work informally on diagnostics. What do students know? What do they what don't they know? And I suggested that classroom dialogue is very important in this, that the way we interact, teachers interact with their students, we will find out more about their thinking that way. But the problem often is that the questions we ask don't allow us to find out what students think, because we ask a lot of recall questions. Can you remember what? And we should be perhaps asking better questions for getting stuff out, like how would you, more hypothetical questions. So that's trying to find out what students know. And then I said the idea that we must pick up, we must make it clear to ourselves as teachers, what is it we want learnt from this lesson? Not what is it we're doing, but from the tasks that we're setting, what is it we want learnt? And have we explained this to the students? Have we given them a learning intention? This is what we're doing in this lesson. Doesn't mean you always start the lesson with this, but at some point during the lesson, we should be able to say to students, why do you think we're doing this? What's the value of this, this learning? And then making clear as well the success criteria. We're saying, what will a successful piece of learning here look like? What's the standard we're trying to reach? It's a lot easier in things like music and sport, because the students and the coach know where they're trying to get to. They can visualize what a good performance will be like. It's a bit harder in the classroom sometimes, so we may need to make quite a lot of effort to show this is what we're trying to do, this is where we're trying to get to. We may need to model it ourselves, we may need to give examples of good work. This is where we're trying to do, this is what you will be able to do when you've learned this. And then the third piece we looked at was the idea of feedback. I made the point that actually most of the feedback we give doesn't work. It doesn't close the gap between where somebody is and where we're trying to get to, for various reasons. But the things that we know do work is that we have to give specific information. The feedback that doesn't work is often very general. Try harder, 7 out of 10. There's no information there that helps the student say, oh, I need to do this. So it needs to be specific, and it needs to focus on the task, not on the student. How do we make this piece of work better? How next time can you do this better? And it needs to be, I suggested the idea of medals and mission, where when you're looking at a student's work, you say, here's where you've met the standard, this is your medal, and here's your mission, this is what you need to do to get better at this. And Jeff Petty, who came up with this, says we often give lower achieving students no medals and lots of missions, all the things they've done wrong. And some of our higher achieving students, we give lots of medals and then we don't ask them to do anything else. So we should be asking even those students who do meet the standard, I call it provocative feedback. We should be saying, and what would you do if, hypothetical, not more writing and stuff, but just thinking about how could I, a challenge is there to move their thinking on. And those are the three things that today I looked at particularly in terms of assessment for learning. Everyday classroom practices, really.
Okay, thank you so much for this.
Okay.